Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larsen, and you're watching the 5 Off, 5 On Racing Show. To my right and your left, John Cozzalli, founder of Long Island Needs a Dragstrip. John, welcome.
Thank you very much, Joe.
You know, for those of you who live here on Long Island, and I'm sure in other parts of the country as well, drag racing has been an integral part of racing since the second car rolled off the assembly line. Two guys side by side want to win. Years ago, there were drag strips all over Long Island.
Yes.
Now there are none.
There are none left online. It's a shame.
It is a shame because now what's happening is these young kids and old guys are out there in the streets drag racing. There's no sanctioning, there's no safety, there's nothing to protect them. And these people, some of them get killed when this stuff happens.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about not having a legal place to drag race and you take it to the streets. That's why we are fighting for a drag race, a drag strip back on Long Island. So I am trying to get as much support as we can to get a drag strip put back on Long Island without having to hurt people on the streets and have them drag racing on the streets. And again, like you said, the safety is a big important.
Very important. And I remember back in the mid-'70s when they cut 231 from the Southern State Parkway to Main Street in Babylon. And that was ideal.
Yes.
And we'd go there at 11:45. I was talking to you before the show. 11:45 at night we'd go because the 4 to 12 shift for the Suffolk County PD was headed back to the precinct, and the midnight to 8 didn't get back until 12:15. So we had like a 25-minute window to do our deal. And one of my buddies, this guy Jackie Sullivan, he caught the guardrail because he lost it a little bit, and he went airborne and broke both his legs.
Yeah.
And that was the end of me drag racing on the streets. I mean, then I just went oval track racing. But you know, back in the day, I mean, some of the drag ships that we had, they were financially sound, good places to go racing. Tell us about some of them.
Yeah, we had National Speedway, which was a NHRA track. A lot of the big drag races were out there, from Hemi Under Glass to the Green Hornet and the Blue Max, going back years ago. And then we had West Hampton, and then they all decided, you know, to shut their doors. I guess the property value at that point in time was worth a little bit more than people coming into drag race, and they sold out.
Wow, and that's what happens. And I remember drag racing, not me personally, but the drag races at Islip Speedway.
Yes.
On that eighth of a mile.
Eighth mile at Islip Speedway. Right.
But the place was packed.
Yes. They even had, I mean, Freeport Raceway didn't have a drag strip, but that was a roundy round racetrack. That went out. Islip Speedway went out. And Bridgehampton went out, which was a road course. That also went out, which followed by Nationals and then West Hampton. The only racetrack that's left on Long Island is Riverhead Speedway.
And you know, Eddie Partridge and Tom Gatz, and they're doing a nice job out there. They've turned the place around, did some nice improvements. But the way the property is laid out and the way some of that is wetlands, they can't extend, they can't put a drag strip in there. Because you do need more than a quarter of a mile of runway, so to speak, a drag strip, because then you need the staging area and then you need the slow down area.
Right.
So there just isn't room to do it there.
For a quarter mile racetrack, drag strip, you would need like a half mile shutdown to be on the safe side. If you're racing 200 plus miles an hour, it's kind of tough to shut down in an eighth.
Yeah, no, you can't.
But they do it. I mean, we have friends that race pro mods, and they go, you know, over 200 miles in the eighth, and they shut down. But you have to be on your game for that.
Now, John, you've been doing this a long time. What sparked your interest in drag racing when you were a young guy?
Actually, my brother-in-law, he got me started. He was in his car, in his 67 GTO, and we were on the street, and he went through the gears, and that was it.
That was it.
I was hooked.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Hook, line, and sinker.
That's what happens. It either bites you or it kicks you in the butt.
Yeah, it bit. It bit hard. And then my brother, we got involved in drag racing, and I went with him, and there it is. It's just a snowball effect, and it just, his son, you know, my family, we're big into drag racing. It's just nonstop.
Now, you know, drag racing, to go drag racing at a legitimate racetrack today, these guys got to get off the island.
Yes.
Where are some of the places that they have to travel to make that happen?
Well, you can go to Englishtown, New Jersey. You have, that's about a 2-hour ride. You can go to Atco, New Jersey, which is about a 3.5-hour ride. Island, which is about a 2.5-hour ride from here. Pennsylvania, and further south. So it's costly.
Oh yeah, just to get off the island, it's you know, with a truck and a trailer, it's insane.
Yeah, I guess the MTA likes us when we go cross the bridges and come back.
Yeah,
they make a lot of money.
They do, and that's the other problem is the cost. Forget about the cost of your car and your equipment and your tools. Just to go get off Long Island and go racing, you're talking $500.
Yes, yeah, it's unbelievable amount of money, and it hurts the pocket. I mean, when there was West Hampton Dragway or Nationals, you know, you can get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. You can go make first round at Nationals. You can lose first round at Nationals. Get to West Hampton Dragway, race there, and be home in time for a good Italian meal.
There you go.
On a Sunday afternoon.
And there's nothing better than a good Italian meal.
No, you're in, you're out. That's the good thing.
Now it's a weekend.
Yes, yeah. When I go, I usually leave at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's a nice time to get off the island because there's no trucks on the road or cars. But coming back is murder. It's what a 2.5-hour trip. Sometimes take 4.
Yeah,
and it's tough.
It's
a all-day affair, and getting home at 11 o'clock at night and trying to get up Monday morning and go to work. Good news is my boss is kind of lenient on that.
Yeah,
so
well, there you go. It's always good to have a boss that's into race. I had a boss at UPS, and he had a drag car, and he used to take it all over the place. And he knew when I'd go up to Lee Speedway on a Sunday up in New Hampshire and come back, we wouldn't get out of there till 10, 11 o'clock at night. By the time I got back home, it was like 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'd be at my desk like this. And he'd say, I need to talk to you in the office. You had to play tough guy in front of the people. And he says, oh, you went racing yesterday.
How'd you do? Did you do good?
But you know, you look at some of this stuff. You look at what these guys go through. Nobody's getting rich drag racing.
No, it's
racing.
It's not a rich man's sport.
No.
It's a hobby.
Right.
That's all it is. People that listen, if you're, you know, John Force and that caliber, then you're getting sponsors, and then you get some good payouts. But for the average racer, no. I mean, people have $200,000, $300,000 cars, and your payout, you might get $5,000, $10,000. That doesn't do nothing for the season.
No.
That might just cover your tires.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Now, John, you're the founder of Long Island Needs a Dragstrip. What motivated you to make that happen other than the fact that you're a drag racer and you want to see drag racing?
Coming back from New Jersey and sitting in traffic on the way home. I got home about 11 o'clock at night, got the car away, it was like 12 o'clock. Looked at my wife and I said, hon, I'm going to put a post up on Facebook. Long Island needs a drag strip. She's like, all right. Next day it was 25 people liked it, 100 people. It got up to 500. She threw the phone at me because it kept going. Every time somebody joins, my phone dings. And now within just over 2 months, we're over 11,000 people just on Facebook.
Wow, wow.
And so I started a wildfire, and I'm not backing down now.
Well, you know, and it seems like from some of the rallies that you've had, there's not just a bunch of street guys that are looking to go racing. You have some key people showing up at your rallies.
Yes. We've had Lee Zeldin,
Congressman
Lee Zeldin, Dean Murray, who we just spoke to, who's on board with us. He's our assemblyman. and a lot of big races. John Montecalvo, Gary Cordier. We have Dina Parisi, who was in Georgia, who she was contact with us, who she's very into liking to bring a Wally back onto Long Island. So we're fighting for this drag strip, not just for us old timers, but for the youth that's growing up, and that's key. We're also trying to do a Beat the Heat program with the police if everything goes good, because how many people would like to say that, hey, you know what, I beat Officer so-and-so in the quarter mile.
Right.
You know, that's an accomplishment.
Sure. And you know, from what I've seen and I've read about some of the stuff that you're doing in some of these rallies, there's a big following. There's a lot of people. They're not just what the late Bob O'Rourke used to say when he had a meeting and talk about racing, you know, he called them nosy so-and-sos, you know, because they were, but the guys that are showing up, these guys have a vested interest in what's going on.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of people have their cars in their garage and they're collecting dust and they're upset. So we're sparked a little bit of hope, and that hope is what's bringing these people back out. Right. And it's not only the races that have come out, it's the races, their families, their sons. I mean, we have 2- and 3-year-olds wearing our shirts and excited about even watching Daddy trying to get back in the car again, and the wives. It's a good family outing. Right. So it's really exciting to.
Yeah, I remember a few years back when we were trying to put that facility together out in Yaphank and go into the public hearings, and there were people from 9 to 90 who spoke at these hearings.
Yes.
And my daughter was one of them, and she got up there, and I mean, she had help with her speech, but when she spoke about it, that was one of the things she said. This is, my family now has to go off Long Island to enjoy this. Now, we're not drag racing people, but you know, the only track left was Riverhead.
Yeah.
And they were on life support at the time.
Yeah.
Who knew what was going to happen? And she went and she talked to that, and other people talked to that, and every person that talked about family, a family activity, that they're taking their hard-earned money, their disposable income, and leaving Long Island instead of leaving it on Long Island.
That's another big issue that a lot of us are having, is taking our hard-earned money and giving it to. Now, there's nothing wrong with the other racetracks,
right?
But listen, let's be honest. It cost $500 just to get on and back on the island, on and off the island. And if that money was here at West Hampton, every weekend we were out there racing.
Yeah,
every weekend. It's just unbelievable that now, if we had the track, a racetrack, road course track, even a motorsports park, the money that the economic value that would come back to Long Island is unbelievable. We have some of the best beaches in the world.
Yep.
Okay, Long Island. You have the wineries, unbelievable wineries that are on Long Island. The hotels would fill up. The engine builders, they would come back in droves again because they're far and few in between anymore. Speed shops, they're not around that much. No. You're limited. You know, you got one of the big ones is S&K out in Babylon.
Yep.
We have Speed World in Riverhead, but this.
Every town had a speed shop years ago.
It's not there anymore, and it's a shame. It's sad.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the local, and I don't want to say all the politician group, but the local powers to be, they do not understand the economic impact of putting a facility like that would probably only operate 1 day a week. Every once in a while have a weekend for a big tournament or something. But the economic impact, what it would do for tax revenues, would put some people to work that maybe aren't working. The food concession people, the beer companies, the soda companies, all would make some money if we just opened up a facility here on Long Island.
When I was in high school, there was automotive programs in high school. Not that many high schools have automotive programs anymore.
No.
They're shutting them down. The last one that I know that was just done a few years ago was out at William Floyd. And I was surprised that they decided to have an automotive program.
Yeah.
Now you have a racetrack. Now we can go back to the schools, get an automotive program, have them build cars, build race cars, race on the track, and again, school against school, have good competition.
Right.
And then, again, like I said, the Beat the Heat. go race an officer.
There you
And we would even build a race car for the police department if this thing went through.
There you go. Hey, John, we got to take a break, pay some of the bills here. We come back, we'll have more talking about drag racing on Long Island when we come back.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? We're Scano Fair, and we're here with Inravio. If they catch you at a show with one of these bracelets, you will win $100.
That's a lot of money.
So get a bracelet.
Do whatever it takes to get that. Hit them up online.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, we're back with John Cozzalli, founder of the Long Island Needs a Dragstrip. You know, John, have you or any of the people you talk to have any sites in mind, the way you're looking to do this and how you're going to do it?
Yeah, we have a few areas involved in Suffolk County, Brookhaven, Riverhead. Basically, when we first started looking, we were looking anywhere from before the bridge in Queens until Montauk Point. We'll race anywhere that somebody will give us a racetrack as long as we don't have to cross a bridge.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom.
So
Now,
you can't beat that.
acreage-wise, how many acres would you need to put a top-notch facility with your drag strip, your staging area, your shutdown, pit area, grandstands, concessions? How much space would that take?
Obviously, 100 acres would be ideal.
Be ideal, perfect.
Yeah, be perfect. Yeah, that would be great. 120 acres, you could probably do a drag strip, a road course, and maybe a little something else involved. And with your pits and your staging area and your grandstands, that would be ideal. There is land out there, and we have, like I said, we have 11,000 people. They're all looking.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, you don't realize how much open space is on Long Island until you take a plane out of MacArthur and fly over it.
Yeah.
You're like, there's all this open space. And a lot of it's Pine Barrens too, but there's still a lot of open space that somebody owns and is just paying taxes on.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
We'll find that piece of land and that person that will sell it and that township that will let us come into it. They will enjoy it. They will make money.
Yeah.
Hand over foot.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that town will love to have races. I mean, you're a racer. You go to Poconos. Okay, the town is small, but when they leave the racetrack, they love races. They shut the roads down. They make all the roads one way. Everything is taken care of to get in and out.
Yep.
And there's no problem.
No problems.
We can do that here.
New Hampshire's like that too.
Yes.
You know, there's a 2-lane highway with a shoulder. They make 3 lanes in the morning to the track, 1 the other way just in case, and the opposite on the way home, and you get right out.
And we can do that with the Long Island Expressway.
Oh, without a
You
doubt.
can do that with Sunrise Highway.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm not in the traffic business, but but yeah, that's the way I look at it. The other tracks out of state who host big events, they love us. They love races coming into their town. And that's welcome races. And look at the money that they bring into that town.
Oh, yeah.
For just those 1 or 2 events a year.
Yep.
They thrive on that, and that's what they look forward to.
Yeah. I know years ago, back in, I guess it was in 1998, we went to White Lake Speedway, which is now Bethel Motor Speedway, for an open car show. The place was jammed with race cars. Hotels were filled for miles. There was waits at restaurants. These people were not used to that.
Yeah.
And that was for one event. One big event that they had.
Imagine if they had two.
All right.
Or three.
I mean, I remember going to, across from the hotel, it was a bar we all went to. We filled the place.
Yeah.
We filled the place, and some of our guys spent a lot of money.
The bar owner loved it too, I'm sure.
But they knew we were going to spend money because they didn't even charge us the cover to come in, because we went as a group and we all had our racing shirts.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the guys says, "Oh, what's going on in there?" And he goes, "Oh, you know, so some music, some drinks." He goes, "Can we get in?" He goes, "What do you plan on doing?" "We plan on drinking." And they pulled the gate back, and in we went.
In.
And then the guys that showed up after us, they made them pay because they weren't a crowd of racers. It was the funniest thing. It was so funny. And you know, the late Kenny Hyde Sr., he was one of the guys that they paid because he had to wait for his wife to get ready. And he goes, "They made me pay."
See, if you were on time, we wouldn't have to pay.
Exactly. But like you said, the communities love when the racers come. They make a lot of money, even if it's not one weekend or, like you said, 2 weekends.
You can't put a dollar amount on that. It's just income beyond belief.
Yeah.
And then the other good thing about racing, like we were talking about the family sport, even when you were racing, racers are a family. If I broke something and I'm racing you, you would come over to me and say, "Here, look, you want a fuel pump? Take my fuel pump." I don't want to win by default.
Right.
I want to win because we raced each other,
Yeah.
not because you couldn't make it to the starting line on time.
Right, exactly.
Okay? And even as it seems, as far as races, there are none. There are no colors.
No.
The only colors in drag racing are yellow, green, and red.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No. That's it. There's nothing else besides that.
No, and it's funny you say that about helping each other. I know when Brian Cicella drove for me in a figure eight car a few years ago, he was a rookie contender. We had a good field of figure eight cars, and the second to last night of the season, he destroys the car. Basically, because the rookie of the year was determined by points.
Right.
Basically, all he had to do the last race is take the green. But there was no way. The car was trashed, beyond trashed. The guy he was competing with for Rookie of the Year called me up. "What do you need?" "I need a new car."
Yeah, I need a car.
He goes, "All right, I'll bring my crew over. Let's see what we got." His crew, my crew, a couple other guys, they put it back because he said exactly what you just said. He goes, "I want to beat you on the racetrack."
Yeah, I don't want to win by default. Anybody could win that way.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I
ended
mean?
up beating him, and my driver was Rookie of the Year, and it meant a lot.
Even if your car couldn't race, I'd race you in a foot race down the racetrack just to say, look, we raced, and that's how it was, not because my parts were broken.
Yeah, and the other thing I noticed about drag racing too is the pit area is wide open. Anybody could go, anybody could walk around.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
not like NASCAR. NHRA is different.
I went to a lot of NASCAR races, and my guy was Jeff Gordon, and I've always wanted to obviously get an autographed picture. But who needed the hot pass? Who needed this? Who needed that? So you could see him behind the glass. All right. Drag racing, you walk through the pits, you got John Force, Connie Coletta, Don Prudhomme, Garlitz, they're there. Come on over. You know what I mean? Come sign, come sit, we'll talk. You know what I mean? They would pick up my daughter and hold my daughter at the time. And it's just unbelievable. The difference between NASCAR and drag racing, I feel, is that you can get closer to the drivers. And the drivers will give you that one-on-one. Not that NASCAR drivers won't, but you can't walk up and the guy will say, "Look, you want to sit in my funny car?" "What? Yeah, can I?" "Sure, hop in." You know what I mean? It's
see that.
No, it's tough.
Yeah, they don't even touch the car.
Yeah, right.
You know, they just don't even touch it. And that's one of the things that happens. And I found it, I wasn't really big into drag racing over the years, but I've come to have a different respect for drag racing, especially since I started doing this show and looking at results and seeing what goes on and reading the paper, unfortunately, about some of the kids who, you know, get killed or even worse, permanently injured.
Yes.
Racing in the streets. And, like we talked about earlier, because sometimes that extra 5 minutes of Medicare, Medevac people, whatever, could save somebody's limbs, their life, whatever. And when you're racing down Sunrise Highway or Sills Road or the Conduit,
You're done.
Yeah.
You hit something.
Because everybody runs.
Yup.
Everybody-
You're on your own.
Yeah.
You're-
And you're sitting there and you're like, what the heck? But if you're at a sanctioned place, the safety people are there, the EMTs are there, and they could start the triage and get you going. And if they got to call a chopper, and they will. If they can get there by ambulance, they do. And, sometimes that can make the difference.
Between life or death.
Yeah. Or
We
being
had-
crippled for life or not.
We had, same thing with you when you race. You get in your car, you strap your belts in, everything's tight, your helmets, you're buckled in. When I'm buckled in, if I forget to throw a switch, I can't reach it. So I have to call my crew chief over and say, look, I forgot to turn the switch on because I can't reach it. That's how tight you are, and you're snapped.
People don't understand that.
Yeah. But when you race, some races on the streets, people do have that, which we're trying to discourage people from racing on the streets. But most of them, they just have the regular lap belt and the shoulder belt. You're given. I can't move when I'm in my car. I am part of the car, just like you. You're part of the car.
Right.
The car goes left, you go left.
Yep.
You go right, it goes right. It rolls, we roll together. And there's been, even in NASCAR, you can see somebody crashes at 200 miles an hour, and they walk out. First thing you do is you thank the chassis builder for building a great chassis.
Yep.
Then you thank the medics for getting there on time to get you out of the track.
Yeah.
Do that on the street, like you said. Everybody scatters, and then you got to pray that the guy that you're with is going to hang around and help you get out of that situation that you're in.
I know Bobby Sada, who used to race late models at Riverhead, now he's working down south on a Sprint Cup team. I didn't understand handling. Sometimes I still don't. And he said to me, Joe, whatever your butt's doing, that's what your car's doing.
Yeah.
If your butt's sliding to the right, your car's loose. If it's sliding to the left, you got to push. If it's tumbling, you're flipping.
Yeah. If you're upside down, there's a problem.
There's a problem. And when he said that to me, when I took my car out, whether it was a practice, a heat race, or whatever, I looked at that and I thought, whoa, my butt wants to do this, or my butt wants to do that. And maybe my belts aren't even tight enough. Maybe I need to change that even. And you're so right, because when I was strapped in, I couldn't reach my mirror.
You can't. Yeah.
I had the steering wheel only, and I had my switches, so they were far enough away that if my arms did go frail, and they wouldn't hit them, but I could just flick them up if I had to.
Yeah.
And people are like, why do you have it so far away? Well, when you crash and your arms do this, you don't want this big knobby thing stabbing you.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. Safety is tantamount in any motorsport.
Yes.
Whether you're drag racing, oval track racing, go-kart racing, you want to be as safe as you possibly can, because obviously what we do is dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And now you have the younger generation coming up with all their import cars. And nothing wrong with import cars, because let me tell you, those things go just as fast when they're cranking up the track. There's some 6-second import cars.
Yeah.
And the kids try to imitate what's going on.
Right.
You put a little turbo in, throw on my little regular seatbelt. It sounds like a popcorn machine, and then the thing takes off.
Right.
You need a safe place to race.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be on the street racing like that.
No. But anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have results from the BETHEL Motor Speedway, upstate New York, when we come back.
Hi, my name is Aaron from Real Big Fish.
And I'm Ed from Real Big Fish.
And you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Inravio.com wants you. Inravio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to Inravio.com/join the team.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Rich Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you get punched in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
And we're back. We're back. And we're back with the results from the Bethel Motor Speedway, upstate New York. Bethel Motor Speedway, a marketing partner with us here at Inravio.com and the 505 on Racing Show. So I want to thank Tracy Chirico for all her efforts and for providing us with the results that come out of their racetrack each and every week. Anyway, Bethel, the Bethel Modified feature finish. Skip LaPolte was the winner, followed by John Coate. Rob Rafferty was third, Joe DeGracia was fourth, Robbie Konakowski was fifth, and Frank Jones was sixth. In the 358 Sportsman feature, Mike Dutka was first, followed by Rick Mill. Kyle Redner was third, Paul Martin fourth, Kevin Crome fifth, and a DQ, Dan Dolan was DQ, disqualified, failing the post-race tech. The Legend feature, Mike Alcaro was the winner, followed by Richie Coy in second. Matt Marin was third. Stephen Hershey was fourth, followed by Jerry Macchia fifth. Mike Policastro sixth. Seventh was Eugene Drew. Jillian Kirkpatrick was eighth. And that is it for the Legends. The Bandolero feature, Mike Roth was the winner there, followed by Tyler Dockenhausen. Sean Verais was third. Isabella Macchia was fourth, Joey Ongst was fifth, Bryce Riley sixth, Connor Pizzacki was seventh, Teddy Krenmer was eighth, and Gage Stoll was ninth. In the Pro Stock feature finish, Kenny Atkins was the winner there, followed by Glenn Richard. Jim Helt was third, Matt Crossan was fourth, followed by Vinnie Stanton, rounding out the top five there. The Street Stock feature finish, Kevin Skelly was first, followed by Kyle Welsh. Gary Van Orden was third, Amber Van Orden was fourth, and Walt Henry was fifth. The four-cylinder advanced finish, Brian Bauerfin was first, followed by Cody Hochtelling. Jerry Kingerter was third, Mikey Travis fourth, and Ben Babcock was fifth. In the four-cylinder advanced, was the Brian Bauerfriend was first. Cody Hoffling was, I think I just said that, I'm sorry. The four-cylinder novice feature was John Hochterling was first, followed by Nicole Nelson. Eddie Jones Jr. was third. Dan Hochterling was fourth. And Felicia Reichenbau rounded out the top five. Bethel Motor Speedway, located in White Lake, New York. Just about an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours up off of Long Island. Could be reached for points in Connecticut and Pennsylvania. If you want to see some good hard racing, go to Bethel Motor Speedway. It's inexpensive to go. It's family friendly, fan friendly, and I'll tell you what, the few times that I've been there in the last couple of years, I've been treated like gold by not only the staff of Bethel Motor Speedway and the officials of Motor Speedway and the drivers and the teams, but the fans as well. Good racing people. And Tracy Bethel, thank you, Tracy. The DQ was for unsportsmanlike conduct, because that's one thing at that racetrack that they do not tolerate. They do not tolerate unsportsmanlike conduct. And there's also signs in the grandstands that say profanity will get you removed from the racetrack. Wow. They don't put up with that nonsense. And I'll tell you what, it's, like I said, I've been there probably a dozen times, and it is very fan-friendly. It's very family-orientated, and they make it so that you don't have any worries about bringing your little kids there. The kids run around. It's just a nice place to go watch racing.
Really
it's you know, to me it looks like, it's like old-time racing. Everybody knows everybody, and you know, it doesn't hold thousands of people, but the people that go there love the racing, and the drivers, they love the racing, and they're all fan friendly. So I want to thank Tracy for everything that she does for the 505 on Racing Show, and looking forward to many more opportunities with Bethel. Now the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is at Bristol this week, and I'll tell you what, you know, I normally don't have an opinion on things, but let me go down the recap here. It was a combo race, and what a combo race is, the NASCAR Whelen Tour from the north and the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour from the south raced together. So a Southern Modified guy could finish like 15th, but if he was the first Southern Modified guy, he's first. Because they split it. Like in New Smyrna years ago, they had the tour type modifieds and the SKs raced together, and then the first ones across the line for the SKs. Well, anyway, the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour finish was Kyle Ebersol was first, Andy Seiss second, Danny Bond was third, Bobby Measma Jr. was fourth, Gary Putnam was fifth, Jerry Gerstner sixth, Kyle Bonsignor seventh, James Savali eighth, Bert Myers ninth, and Jason Myers rounded out the top 10. In the Whelen Modified Tour, the Northern guys, Eric Goodale gets his second career win at Bristol Motor Speedway. Todd Zegedy was second, followed by Donnie Leah. Patrick Emmerling was fourth. Doug Colby fifth. Ryan Priest sixth. Bobby Santos was seventh. Ron Silk eighth. Jeff Goodale, Eric's brother, ninth. And Matt Swanson, rookie contender, rounded out the top 10. Rob Summers took the pole. He finished 20th and had to leave the race with overheating problems. Now, something happened there at this race because I'll tell you what. I wasn't there, but you know, I read a lot of accounts, and it had to do with the Flamingo Motorsports team owned by Eric Sanderson and driven by Long Islander Timmy Solomino. The Flamingo Motorsports owned by Eric Sanderson with driver Timmy Solomino has threatened to pack it in, according to the crew chief Sly Zaban, and Zaban spoke of this in a published report on Speed51.com. According to Zaban, a NASCAR touring official told the 16 team they could repair their race car under red, which was a 2-hour rain delay that had the cars just sit in the pouring rain. The team asked numerous times to ensure they heard the official correctly regarding red flag rules. Now, normally under red flag, you don't work on your car. You do not. Being a former touring official, when we had a red flag situation, the cars were put in the line, whether it was down pit road or somewhere in the pit area, in the garage area, and we would stand there and watch them, make sure nothing happens. The crew chief went up to the official that was in charge of their car and said, I know it's a red flag, but it's for rain. Can we work and fix the car? The official said, yes, you can. So they asked again, so what you're telling me is under this red, I could fix my car? Yes, you can. Numerous conversations with this NASCAR touring official said, yes, you could fix their car. Well, when the race returned to green, the 16 car of Timmy Solomino was held on pit road for a penalty of 25 laps. Now, Solomino entered the event third in the points. Now, he only dropped to fourth, but that's a big drop with the way the points are so tight. There's not a lot of races left. And you know, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Race Director, Jimmy Wilson, told the 16 team, you know better. The crew chief said, yeah, we do, but your official said under the circumstances, we could do this. The touring official said it was okay. Wilson again told the team, you know better. He goes, yeah, but he's an official. He's in charge. He told me I could do this. He was on the radio. He got permission. Jimmy Wilson, NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, a series director, told Speed51.com that there was a communication error between the teams, him and the officials. Now, 4 other teams are penalized. Now, Solomino, who's cut his teeth at Riverhead and has one of his 3 tour wins at Riverhead, may not be able to compete in his car because they're considering pulling out because of this nonsense. Now, being a former touring official, mistakes happen.
Of course they do.
I made dozens of them. In my opinion, if an official makes a bad call, that official, that's his decision. if the team went to this official numerous times, according to Slicer Band, the crew chief of that team, and said, "Are you sure we could do this?" Yes, you can. There should have been no penalty. Now, I scoured through my tour rulebook looking for what the penalty actually is. And a red flag penalty, working on your car on a red flag, is at the discretion of the official in charge. Now, they just set the precedent. So does that mean from this race forward until something's written in the rulebook that they're going to penalize people 25 laps? That's a lot of laps. The biggest penalty I ever saw was you got a 2-lap penalty if you had an unapproved tire. How he came up with 25 laps is mind-boggling to me. And I'm going to tell you what I think happened. They only planned to hold him for a little bit. The race got dicey, and they forgot about him. Now, it's not an excuse, and I'm not defending the 25-lap penalty, but that's the only thing that I could see causing that. At that point, they went out at lap 55, it's now lap 80, and they're informed that there are 150 lap races, now 100. Why bother? Put it inside. These owners, they spend a lot of money on these cars. It cost, and I'm going to say, with nothing breaking, it cost these teams $6,000 to $7,000 a week minimum to go to a tour race.
That's a lot of money.
And especially in Bristol is a little more because they have to travel more and they're there for 3 days or 2 days, whatever it is. So this is why teams like the Buzz Chew team left NASCAR and now races on dirt. The payoffs are bigger. There's consistency, and you have to be consistent. One thing that you have to be as an official is consistent. And the other thing is, once you put on that official shirt, you need to know the rules.
Yeah.
And if that official would have said to them, "Sorry, we're under red, you know better," they walk away. But that official said, "Yeah, go ahead, work on your car." And I remember a time at Monadnock, a similar thing happened. We had a qualifying. Cars were impounded. I'm standing there watching my 2 or 3 cars, and the official to my left is watching his 2 or 3 cars. And the crew chief walked by, and there's a spark plug wire hanging on the ground. He went up to that official, and I heard him, and the crew chief said, "Listen, I don't even have to remove the hood. That spark plug wire is hanging. Can I just put it on?" "Go ahead." So he puts it on. As his hand is coming from underneath the hood, the technical director for the series sees him and starts yelling at him in front of everybody.
Not good.
The guy says, "Your official said I could." That official all of a sudden had a deaf ear. He's doing this. He's looking. "Because you told me I could." And he went. He gets called into the office. The crew chief got nasty with the officials in charge. Obviously, I would too, because now they got to start last. And unfortunately, every time there was an incident near or around this car, they black flagged him, put him to the rear for aggressive driving. That was a payback for being rude and nasty in the office. And I understand that, but I don't understand that. You don't do that. That official should have manned up and said, "Hey, I told him." And that official should have been reprimanded. And that's one of the problems that I see in some of these touring series, is that it used to be you came out of a weekly racing series, racetrack, before you went as an official in a touring track or touring series. What's happening now is, "Oh, my friend who plays golf for me wants to be an official. All right, sign up." And this is a true story. I'm going to tell you, a guy came into the series and they told him to follow me for a while. So the guy's following me around the garage area, I'm doing my thing. So you start to have a conversation. So I said, "Hey, so-and-so, I got to ask you, so what experience do you have that, you're part of a modified touring series?" And he said, "Oh, I was a fan. I used to watch the modifieds." Oh, okay. He goes, I used to watch, that Two Guys Garage show on TV. That didn't make me a mechanic. But, I joked about it with him. And he says to me, "Well, Joe, to tell you the truth, if you turned one of these cars upside down, I couldn't tell you the front from the back." He's an official.
That's sad.
And still is.
That's sad.
So, to have this happen to me, and I'm not bashing NASCAR, please, I'm not. I'm just stating the fact here, and I'm talking about what Speed 51 republished in a published report on their website of what happened. And this is why there are less cars in the Modified Tour. This is why half the teams that compete are from Long Island, because they weren't happy with the old Riverhead days, so they joined the Tour. That's why the Riverhead Modified car count is not what it once was. Yes, Eddie and Tom and John Elwood are working to make that better, and they are.
Yes, they
and
are.
with the support divisions, with the SKs and SK types, I should say, and the crate modifieds, and they're working at bringing that back. And I'd like to see the heydays when we had 30 modifieds back at Riverhead. I remember those. I had heat races back in 99 and 2000, 2001 that had more cars than some of their features out. But they're building on that, and it feels good to see that it's coming back. But to have an inconsistent series director who's going to make a decision based on, how many laps should I penalize him? 25. The rule book says, the rule book says at the discretion of the official in charge. Now what he's just done is he set precedent. And it's going to be interesting to see if moving forward, if this situation ever happens again, will that team be penalized 25 laps?
Probably not.
Probably not. And that's why the modifieds are not what they once were. They're just not what they once were. I can remember the Touring Series modifieds coming to Riverhead Raceway back about 10 years ago. We're starting 28 cars, 65 showed up to enter. More cars went home than raced.
Yeah.
And the difference between pole and home was just over 0.2 of a second.
There was times that I went to Riverhead, but like you said, there were so many cars, but you didn't know where it started or it stopped, because as soon as they started, the lead guy was right at the back of the last guy.
And if you weren't paying attention, there's no way you could tell who was winning.
No.
You know,
I couldn't.
No. So, it's kind of sad. And Eric Sanderson, I know him through the years over the Tour. He's one of those car owners who everything has to look right, everything has to be right. His crew is dressed professionally. There's never a problem with this team. I was on that series a long time as an official. Never once did I have an issue with that team. They came to the racetrack. You checked their car. Everything was perfect. Perfect. And I used to tease them. I said, we should use yours as the model that everybody else should use, And they spent a lot of money on these teams. And I can remember Bob Garbarino, owner of the Mystic Missile, number 4, he said to me, Joe, I spend a couple of $100,000 a year racing this car. They need to treat me with a little bit more respect. And he doesn't even hardly go to the races no more.
Yeah, no, it's doesn't matter how much money you spend. Like you said, it's up to the discretion of the official.
Absolutely.
Which is bad.
Exactly. But anyway.
There should be no gray areas in that area.
No.
It's, like you said, even in big NASCARs, you see it. They let certain people get away with certain things.
Oh, yeah.
Why should you be held for 5 laps when he gets held for 1? And it was the same infraction.
Exactly. And we're going to take a break. We come back, we'll report on the rest of Bristol and wrap things up here at the 505 on Racing Show, live from New York. We'll be back.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, welcome back. Yeah, we're just scrolling through what some of the chat room is going on, and I know, some people feel that a drag strip will never happen, but never is like a long, long time, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, the Camping World Truck Series was at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ben Kennedy was the winner there, followed by Brett Moffitt. Daniel Hemrick was third, with William Bryan fourth, Johnny Sauter fifth, Cole Custer sixth, Christopher Bell was seventh, John Hunter Nemechek was eighth, Brandon Jones ninth, John West Townley was 10th. Tyler Reddick had the pole. He finished 14th and on the lead lap. The Xfinity Series was also at Bristol. Austin Dillon was the winner there, with Justin Argyle second. Kyle Larson was third, Elliott Sadler fourth, Brendan Gaughan was fifth, followed by Jeremy Clements. Sixth, seventh was Darrell Wallace Jr., eighth was Blake Koch, ninth was Brandon Jones, 10th Corey LaJoy. Eric Jones had the pole, and he was involved in an accident, only completing 64 laps, so it ruined his day. Yes, and the Sprint Cup Series was also at Bristol. Kevin Harvick was the winner there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with an awesome second place finish there. Denny Hamlin third. Austin Dillon was fourth. Chris Buescher was fifth. Carl Edwards was sixth from the pole. Jimmy Johnson seventh. Jamie McMurray was eighth. AJ Allmendinger ninth. And Joey Logano 10th. And from the behind the scenes, Jeff Gordon is out of the 88 Hendrick Motorsports number 88 from Michigan. The Alex Bowman is scheduled to drive that car. Speaking of Hendrick Motorsports signed Camping World Truck Series present point leader William Byron to a multi-year contract. Byron, only 18, has 5 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series victories, a record, driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports. 2017 will see Brian in an Xfinity car, so that'll be good. Also, a little side note, Richard Petty's grandson, Thad Moffitt, who was only 15, won his first stock car race last week at the Anderson Motor Speedway in South Carolina in a limited late model. So he'll be moving up the ranks very quickly. It's a joint effort between Richard Petty Motorsports and another team owner. So it's good to see that Richard Petty's grandson is actually involved there. That's his daughter's son. So anyway, so John, you got some rallies coming up. What do you got coming up next?
Yes, we have September 17th at Tanner Park in Copiague. We have a rally starting at 10 o'clock. Right now we have about 1,500 to 1,600 people scheduled to show up. We have a few politicians that are going to be there. Some news media is also going to show up. We'd like everybody to come down, show their support, that would like to see a drag strip or a road course be built on Long Island. It's a family. They have a petting zoo. It's like their Tanner Park has their little own carnival weekend. Yep. That's what they have there this weekend. It's just, listen, if we get a drag strip back on Long Island, all my efforts have paid off.
You know, I'll tell you what.
It works.
When you do stuff like that, and, the time and the money out of your pocket, because we all know that you're not, nobody's helping you pay the bills here.
No.
And it's a labor of love, and when it's all done, and that first staging light goes green, I'm sure there's going to be tears rolling down your face because you're going to say, I did it.
Oh, we're all gonna kiss the starting line.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
But with these rallies, what typically goes on at one of these rallies when you have?
Listen, it's just a big get together, and everybody wishing and wanting that a racetrack is going to happen, and it's a family atmosphere, like you said. Not only for the people that come to the event that is happening at Tanner Park, but for this rally, it goes to show how many racers actually can get together and have a great time.
And like you said, the politicians, Lee Zeldin, very supportive of your efforts.
Dean Murray.
You know, and that's big. You know, when you get the buy-in from a politician of that caliber, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
I was impressed that they came out.
You know, and he's not just sugarcoating anything. He really is supporting you guys.
He went on Fox News, and they did an interview to him on Fox News, and they were talking to him about the money that I believe we gave Iran or whoever it was. And then one of the news reporters asked him about, so you're trying to get a drag strip built on Long Island? And sure enough, he went into his, yes, he is. And then there flashed his picture with himself, myself, a few other people, and it was great. Mike Scano, Nick from American Racing Headers. I was impressed.
Wow.
I was ecstatic that we kind of like went national, so to say.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of people over Long Island years ago was the hotbed of racing. And I can remember Big Bob O'Rourke said, you could race, and he ran NASCAR all over the place, and he said that you could race 7 nights a week on Long Island and drag race another couple of nights.
Yes.
And you know, I remember ISOP ran in the middle of the week, National Speedway, one was on a Sunday, West Hampton was on a Saturday, or vice versa, and there was racing everywhere.
Everywhere. We're a big, Long Island used to be a great racing spot.
Yeah.
You know, but, and now the only thing that I would really like to say is I'd like to thank everybody on my committee. My wife, Kathy Cozzalli, my son, John Cozzalli, Mike Scano, Bill Gemello, Neil, Gary Rominsky, and the sponsors, S&K, and everybody else that just gets their names on the back of our shirts so we get the name out there, and we are out there for awareness. You see these shirts, you know that people want a drag strip.
Yep.
So
I got mine right now, right here. See, John walked in with a pile of shirts for me. And you know what? Yeah, Long Island does need a drag strip.
yes, we do.
Long Island needs a drag strip because I'm tired of reading the paper and seeing on News 12 these kids that are involved in these races and they get hurt.
You know, my opinion, which I'm sure will probably upset people, but listen, if we have a racetrack back on Long Island and it's a legal spot to drag race, you shouldn't be drag racing on the street. If you get caught, suffer the consequences.
Absolutely. And they're big.
Yeah.
They're big.
If they impound your car, sorry.
Yeah.
You have a place to go grudge race against
Yeah.
your friends.
Exactly.
Legally and
You know,
safely.
I remember years ago, a friend of mine, his dad was a detective in the 3rd Precinct here in Suffolk County, and they'd have these cars impounded. And he would drive around and try to get somebody to race them.
Yeah.
And he'd get on his radio. Okay, I got him. 231 between Old Country Road and the railroad, you know, or over by the old Comac Road, by the old hospital.
Bait and hook.
It was 1 lane, then it went to 2 because of the traffic back then to go. And that 2 lanes was a quarter mile.
Yeah. As soon as it split open.
As soon as it split. And he would challenge the guys to races. And a lot of them cried entrapment. But the bottom line is they did it.
Yeah.
You know.
Try to prove it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he used to laugh. He used to tell me when he used to do that. But anyway, I think it's time. We got to wrap it up. So I'm not getting any nods. It's time. Yeah, we got time. Oh, we got 2 minutes. Wow, I get 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Well, you know, there's people in the chat room tonight, and I'll tell you, I think we finally turned Kevin Long Island Need for Speed. He says, I hope it happens. Because, you know, he was like, I don't think it's going to happen. I know he's an oval track guy, just built a modified, an old vintage modified. They're going to bring it out, and I saw pictures of it. So, Kevin, thank you. You did a nice job with that. And Tracy, you're absolutely correct. Positive thoughts can be powerful.
Yep.
And thank you. Good luck to John and his crew out there. And Dude One, you know, he's a big racer himself. So, and I don't mean a big racer. He's a big racer. He's a racer. But anyway, John, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you very much.
You're always welcome to come down here and talk to us.
Anytime. I'd
talk
be glad
about
to come
racing.
back.
Whatever help you need that we could do, and if we need to come down and film some stuff.
I'd love for you guys to come to our event. If you can make it on the 17th.
We'll try to put a crew together and come down. Because as Bethel Motor Speedway knows, when we come down, it's a professional image. We got our camera crew, our sound crew. We try to do it right.
You see 1,500 people all in white shirts.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
I'll even have one.
Yes, Yes, you will.
Wow. John, thank you so much.
Thanks
And I
again.
wish you luck with this endeavor. And I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules to be a part of the 505 on Racing Show tonight. I know the top series, they're going to be in Michigan this weekend. And the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour will be here on Long Island at the Riverhead Raceway. So that's always a good show. And Marty Himes is having his reunion this Sunday at the Himes Museum of Nostalgia. So after you get out of church on Sunday, head over to Marty Himes and check it out, too. It's all good. But again, I want to thank everybody for being a part of this show tonight. And wherever your endeavors may lead you this week, please be safe. Please be careful. Give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week.
So long.
John, thank you.